Second ice, we did already. We did. So I didn't do Chazara, the second ice. So he's talking about Vayehi Hashmini. He brought the Kli Yakar the Rashba. The Kli Yakar says that Shmini is Aleph Reichev Al Zayin. The language of the Rashba is the Aleph is Shomer as a Hekef. We explained all this yesterday. So this is Vayehi Hashmini that explains why the Shechina is revealed in the Mishkan Dafke on that day, and then added, it's not just Shmini, but it also incorporates the Eser Kisrin, the Shleimus of the 10 crowns, which is revealed even after Moishe Mashiach. As explained yesterday at considerable length. So Ois base we learned also, and that's a connection. We did or not? We did. So this is the connection to the fact that Shmini is often read b'hemshech to Pesach, which means it's the tachlis and the shleimus of all the 7 days of Pesach. So to understand this, we explained in the Maamar Bachon Shal Pesach that there's lechem oini, matzah shira, lechem oini, and matzah shira. Matzah shira, rich matzah, is ishapcha, b'chol levavcha, b'shnei yitzarecha. It's made with yayin, shema, and dvash and cholav, as he explained. And then there is the only, so that's much, it's a higher madrega, obviously, than lechem oini, which is iskafia. Nonetheless, iskafia of lechem oini is connected to the tachlis of the chol ma'it. And that's the Inyan of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Yetzias Mitzrayim, that's the parsha, the shred of Kriyas Shema. There's two Kabbalahs oil. There's Kabbalahs oil Shemayim. That's the first parsha of Kriyas Shema. Shemayim Makif. That's Seviv Kalalmin. That's B'chol Ma'itcha. And then there's the Kabbalahs oil of parsha Shniya, which is Mitzvahs. That's the Shuv. So that's the Rotzo is parsha Rishona, and the Shuv is parsha Shniya. Yeah, that's a summary of yesterday. Now is Gimel. Vihyne, Maimer HaTzemach Tzedek Kanal, this Maimer that we're talking about, the Maimer Bachon Shel Pesach, Ubehemshech LaMaimer Shelefonov, so this Maimer itself is a hemshech to the Maimer that precedes it, Shebein Yisbayir Inyan Beis Parshas Kriyas Shema. It's a hemshech. So the previous Maimer, as we just spoke about moments ago, the Tzemach Tzedek is explaining the two parshas of Kriyas Shema. Shema Vohi Yem Shemoya. The Rotzo in Shub, as we just said. Now in square brackets he adds, "V'nis bayir gam b'di amaschel hoven ahefesh ben krishma shebesidur." This inyan that we're talking about now, the two parshas, Shema and Vohi Shemoya, is also explained in the Alter Rebbe Siddur. In the mind which begins to understand the difference between Kriyas Shema and to see it. What page does he say? In this Siddur, Ayin Gimel. The Tila, okay? So the Ella Sheshomo Besignan Shladmarem Tzoi, the Mittel Rebbe wrote these Mamorim, so it's written in the style of the Mittel Rebbe, Mishbah Chavas Abir. The Khan, but the Maimah we're talking about, is a different signet, different style. That's a Tzedek. Then they're radically different. The Mittel Rebbe's Barichas Abir in Oishas of Chassidus and Kabbalah with Ribboy Yasberim, and Tzemach Tzedek is replete. The Moreh Chazal, Chassidus, Kabbalah, Medrash, Gemara, Midrashim, a very, very different style. So he's just saying, that we're talking about now, we're talking about the Tzemach Tzedek's Maimer. So this is also addressed in the Siddur, but there it's in the Mittler Rebbe style. But now we are talking. Our Maimer is based on Tzemach Tzedek. Now, notwithstanding it's a Tzemach Tzedek's Maimer, he quotes a lot from the Alter Rebbe, and moreover, in one of the notes. It says the kach matzosi kos miksav yad haril that Tzemach Tzedek brings from Yehuda Leid, Alter Rebbe's brother. So the Rebbe is just telling us that Maimon Tzemach Tzedek is eclectic a little bit and has from the Alter Rebbe and even from the Maril, Alter Rebbe's younger brother, who was appointed by him. Actually, is the Rav, and he was a big Gaon Olam, Kabbalah and Nigla. Wrote Svarim. We have them. Now, continuing now, the Tzemach Tzedek's beer in the first parshas of Krish, the parsha of Krishma, in contrast to Vayehi Shemaya, he writes, Dinim bevua b'zoyar. So Tzemach Tzedek brings that which is brought in the Zoyar, she parsha Rishayna b'chinas chesed. Parsha Rishayna is chesed, parsha Shniya gvura. Which we can see that the first parsha is Vehafta, that's what dominates it, and what dominates the second parsha, Shlachenema Hishomro, be warned, V'chora Hashem will be angry with you. Ulacha'ira, who's asking this? The Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek. Just 1 second. Looks like it's the Tzemach Tzedek. So how does this accord? How does what accord? The first part is Chesed, and the second is Gvura. In Mashakasa Bekistri Arizal. Without which is stated in the Kisra Arizal, let's follow. Parsha Rishon the Krishma in Shemab. So Parsha, the first Parsha of Krishma Shemab. Now Shemab is not like the Shema and so on, where we're talking about the gematria of the miloy of the oisios. This is not the same meaning. Shemab 42 are the number of words in the first parsha of Kriya Shema, which corresponds also to Ana B'Koyach. Ana B'Koyach is also 42 words, and 42 is significant because 42, anybody in Chumash? Yeah, the 42 journeys, Yitzias Mitzrayim, which is what we're talking about. Parsha Rishon is Yitzias Mitzrayim in the highest level of B'chol Ma'itcha. So it's all connected, number 42. The number 42 doesn't come out of nowhere, obviously. It's 6 times 7. Ana B'Chayach is 7 psukim, and there's 6 words in each pasuk. The 6 times 7, of course, are the 6 midas. Times 7, the whole, including Malchus, the full expression, right? Is explained and addressed in other Maimorim. So all to say that the Arizal says that the first parsha Shemab. Now, what is that? What's the contradiction to this? Zohar is going to say Shazel Sheyeshta Membes Tevis. It also like Ana B'Chayach has 42 words from Vehafta till Visharecha. Now that's the end of Gevurah. Yitzias Mitzrayim, we're going out of Mitzrayim. It's Malamata L'mayla. That's the Shaila here. So what's the question? And we just finished the quote from the Arizal. Parsha Shniya Yinshem Ayim Beis. Now Parsha she is Ayim Beis. Now Ayim Beis from Mispar HaTevis, that's the same number of words from, if you count, Hayim Shemaya Ad V'Samtim till the till the end. So the Shaila is how do you do it? Shemab b'chinas gevura. Shemab is milamata l'mayla. Shalachei kol ha'aliyas adei Shemab. All the aliyas are through Shemab, which was Ana B'Chayach said. Ana B'Chayach said every point in davening where the emphasis is aliyah milamata l'mayla. Sviris ha'omer. The whole point is the birur hamidus. That's the whole Parsha Krishma they were talking about. So all Alis Hadeshemab. Why? Fisher Bechinas HaGvura, because it's Gvura. Gvura is Melamata L'mayim. Melamata L'mayim. L'sebes Aliyah Vistalkos. V'Shem Ab Bechinas Chesed. But the Shem Ayin Beis is Chesed. It's full Gili revelation from above to below. Begematria Ayin Beis. Chesed 8 and 60 and 4 is Begematria Ayin Beis. So we have a contradiction. How is it possible that Shem Mab, Shebechinas HaGvura, that's connected to what? Shaykh LeParsha Shayna, which is Chesed. Okay, so let's distill the stira, the contradiction. The Zohar says Parsha Shayna is Chesed, and Parsha Shniya is Gvura. There is also the Parsha Shayna is Shem Mab, that's Gvura. And Parsha Shniya is 72 words. That's Chesed. So we have a contradiction. Clear? Yeah. Answer. Again, echi speaks about this in Derech Mitzvah Secha. Echi tochen sheshema, how is it possible that Mab Shebechinas HaGvura, that's in Gvura. So yes, Shaykh LeParsha Shayna, that's connected to Parsha Shayna, which is in of Chesed. That's what this says in Zohar. V'Shem Ab Shebechinas HaChesed, and Shem Ayin Beis, which is Chesed, Giloi, yes, Shaykh LeParsha Shniya, which is opposite, which is Gvura. From the Kudus Habir Bazeh, what he's referring to now is something I think we have encountered, Achlifu Duchtayu, where you have normally the Seder is that the Giloi of Eir HaChesed is in the Kli of Chesed, and the Giloi, or the relationship of Eir HaGvura, is in Kli HaGvura. That's the regular Seder. But you have Achlifu Duchtayu, that's Avodah, is on the contrary, is harmony, integration, which means changing places, literally. Where Eir HaChesed is in Kli HaGvura, and Eir HaGvura is in Kli HaChesed. And that's Tachlis HaAvodah. So it's spelling it out now. So what's Taka reconciling the two? Who Eir HaChesed beKli HaGvura. You tell me just who says Eir HaChesed and who says Kli HaGvura. Who are the two sources that we're reconciling now? Will I take a cup of coffee or two? Eir HaChesed, what's the market of that? Right? And Kli HaGvura, it is a how, because he points out that there's Shem Mab 42 words. So the teretz is that it's taka both, because it's Eir HaChesed and Kli HaGvura. Now it spells that out a little bit for us. I mean, this Maimah, the whole Maimah is in the style of the Tzemach Tzedek. Haine Shem Mab Shu B'Gvura. So what's Kli HaGvura? Shem Mab, Mem Beis 42, which is Gvura. Division Yona Yuhallah, because what's Gvura? Gvura is from below to above. It's on a very simple level. Gvura is Midas Hadin, correct? So what does Midas Hadin say? You have to earn it. There's no freebie, you don't get it. It's got to be in Lamata Lamaila. And Chesed, by nature, you don't have to earn it, and it comes from Lamaila Lamata. As we pointed out in the past, the physical incarnate, you tell me, of Chesed and Gevura in our world is water and fire, and they're contrasting properties. The water comes down and fire goes up. Water fuses everything together. Everything becomes one mass, because Chesed does not differentiate, and fire, on the contrary, exposes and separates. That's all the properties of Gevura, as well as all of the other properties of fire and water. Akoponim, so he's saying that what's in the Parsha Rishayna, Inyan, Hainu, Sheshem Mab, Shobigvura, Fishin Yoni Allah, Parsha, It's a person's ava. It's the yid's avodah. Who are keli l'eira chesed sheba'ava. So what is he exhibiting? Love of a God. That's like a chesed. But that love of a God is engendered through his abundance, etc., and his yitzias mitzrayim. So it's the kli hagvura and it's eira chesed. B'chol ma'itcha. B'chol ma'itcha is the tachlis hachesed, bligvul. But that bligvul is, as it says in Chassidus, b'chol ma'itcha. It's your bligvul, which means it's on l'mata l'mayla. Right? So it's in kli hagvura. We're clear? Shoyin ha'ava b'efen sha'allah. V'istalkas eben ha'keli. So here the yid is inspired, and b'chol ma'itcha, the inyan of rotzoi, to go to leave the keli, but he's tethered. The starting point is the keli. That shemab gvura. He's the keli, and here he's in the tnu of istalkus of aliyah of ava bligvol. That's chesed. That's the of the chesed property the Zohar speaks of. What? Are we somewhat clear, guys on the Zoom? Yeah, Davidon, Miss Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Parsha Shniya is the opposite. Parsha Shniya, the Krishma, is the opposite. So Eir HaGvura B'Kli HaChesed. So who's the Eir HaGvura again? Who says that? Who points that out? Same thing. The Eir HaGvura, that Parsha Shniya is Gvura. That is the Zayar, Yishomra Lachem. And the Kli HaChesed is the Arizal. How does he say it's Kli HaChesed? Where do we see thinking of Chesed? Iron base and the kalim, the words are the kalim, the words are Kli HaChesed. The words are Parashish Rishayna, are Gvuradika words, Allah, Ana B'chayach. So what is it? Again, Achlifu Duchtayu, the Eiris change place. That's the language of the Zohar. The Krishma Inyan Eir HaGvura B'Kli HaChesed. So the Parsha Shniya is Eir HaGvura, but in Kli HaChesed. What does that mean? Shezeu Shem Ab Shukli HaChesed. So the Keli is Shem Ab. Shezeu Inyan Amshochem Lamayla Lamata. Here the avodah is to bring it down into mitzvahs. Kabbalah's El mitzvahs. We're bringing down the Ava, V'chulu, and so on. Ach mishum zeh ha'eiro b'chinas gvura v'cheira b'tzimtzum. We're bringing it down b'tzimtzum. The focus here is the shuv. The focus is the shuv, is an engagement in the pratis in the world in Torah mitzvahs. And therefore, it's what? It's Eira Gvura B'Kli HaChesed. He's translating the B'chol Ma'edcha now in Avodah, in mitzvahs, in the world, in a way of tzimtzum. Each mitzvah is done very precisely. It's the opposite tnuah of B'chol Ma'edcha. That's the gewalt and the longing and the histalkas from the keli, departing the keli. Vayom Shemaya, that's the rotzei. Vayom Shemaya is the opposite, is the shuv. And hence, Vayom Shemaya is what? Is Eira Gvura B'Kli HaChesed. Kli HaChesed mean he has experienced already the B'chol Ma'edcha, but now he's translating, he's being mamshich, the inyan in everyday life, in mitzvahs, in transforming the world. Somewhat clear? Yeah? Okay. V'hinei beis en yanem hanal. I was just thinking the other day, someone should do this. It would be a bestseller, to write a book just on Shema, Apichsidis. It would be in Hebrew and in English. But it's like a year probably. There's so much. I mean, it's so much. But imagine it would be a bestseller. And what Chassidus just, and then to explain it, not first they give all the Kabbalah, etc., but be masbidding. It's all you don't have to invent the wheel. Chassidus explains it. We learned so many beautiful Amarim. If you remember Chafei, the 25 letters of Baruch Shem, Koi, Zeh, I don't remember. Okay, someone's got a project in English. it would be an explosive bestseller. Dalet v'hinei bezin yonim anal the parshish and the parshish and the shebekriishma b'shebaveda kol yom. So now translating this, the also in the shuv, and the detail we just got now on Ois Gimel, as it translates every day. Yeshna gam b'chag Pesach. We find this on the Yontav of Pesach, b'chinas klolos hakol hashana, as a general model for the year round. How so? D'hinei inyan parshish shenish niska b'chol ma'itcha. So what's Parshat Yishayna, which is B'chol Ma'itcha? That's Kabbalas El Malchus Shamayim. It's supposed to Kabbalas El Mitzvahs, Yitzias Mitzrayim. V'yesh Mem Beis Tevis, the 42 words again we mentioned that corresponds to the 42 journeys leaving Mitzrayim. Keneged Shemab, which corresponds to Shemab, Shal Yodeim Kol Aliyas, through which all the ascents happen. So what's that? With the Gemara b'Chag Pesach, and that's what Pesach is basically. It's Yitzias Mitzrayim. Klal saying Yitzias Mitzrayim. So Eir is the Ava Malamata Lamaida. The Jew is leaving the Gvul, the Meitzah, the limitation, and the longing, and so on. Lot says Kolin Shal Meitzah Gvul to tear himself away and break himself away from all limits till he reaches B'chol Ma'itcha. And we said Vinyan Zeh. Nas al Yidei Shemab, that's Shemab. Now more detail. Shezeo inyan gimel pamim yudalit. So we said 42 is 7 times 6. Is the 7 spheres times 6, the 6, excluding Malchus, which is the facilitator. Now he's adding another dimension. This is typical Tzemach Tzedek. It's 3 times 14. Is that true? Yeah? 3 times 14 is 42. 6 times 7, I know, is 42. So I guess 3 times 14 is also 42. So what's the 3 times Yad? Vahainu Gimel Yoda is the 3 hands associated with Yitzias Mitzrayim. Yod Rama, God's exalted hand. Yod Rama, Eden went out with God's lifted hand. Number 1. Number 2, Yad Chazaka, strong hand. Yad Chazaka. Yishalchim, with a strong hand, you will send them out. And the 3rd hand, V'yod HaGdayla, the great hand, which is caused by Kreis Yamsef, Ayad HaGdayla, Sheras Hashem b'Mitzrayim. So the 3 hands are the 40, that's the journey. This is the journey of the 42 Masois. This is B'chol Ma'itcha, this is the first parsha of Kadishma, Yitzias Mitzrayim, the 3 times Yudalid. Yeah? There's something here that Rabbi Minkovich, to ask him, once gave us a drosha, Rabbi's father. I mean, the Rambam is called Yad HaChazaka. But he mentioned that every 14 years, the Rebbe's Nesias, there was a serious health issue. The first one, people didn't even know about it. 19 Tafshin Chavdalid was Chavdalid, and then 14 years later is what? Lamed Ches, and then Nun Beis. Yod, Yod, Yod. But then there's the 5th Yad, Yad HaChamishis to Paroi. There's a 5th Yad, which is Gula, the ultimate Gula. I mean, beautiful drasha he gave. The 14 years. I mean, it's something, I don't think we do forget, but it's always the Rebbe, the Gashmi is Basav Adom, Chulu, but every prat pashat, every detail is, you can see, reflective of in Yonim, the most deepest in Yonim of Alikus. All the dates of his life, Yadalf Nissen, and Gimel Tammuz, and Leitevis. This is enough to make a person about truth. So continuing, so let's in the middle of this. That's the 3 of his Gam Inyan Ha'oni Va'Doichek the Mitzrayim. So this is also the oppression of Mitzrayim that we are leaving. The doichek that presses out this. The doichek is what presses to leave the Meitzah. The Bali Tshuva, like the Maila of the Ava Rabba, as opposed to Avas Olam of the Bali Tshuva, as opposed to Avas Olam of the Tzaddik. That's the first parsha. Why do you bring the Yod? Because the three Yodas is also Begematria Membeis. It's all integral to the going out of Mitzrayim. The Rambam himself is hinted to in the Inyan of Yitzias Mitzrayim. No? Moishe,
Revois Moifsai Be'eretz Mitzrayim.
Revois Moifsai Be'eretz Leman. That's what David says. I'm taking out of Egypt in order to increase my wonders. Be'eretz Mitzrayim is Rosh Tevis Rambam. Rabbi mentioned this once. We see Yod Chazaka. Okay, we're getting the general, connections. Okay, let's continue. That's Parsha Rishona, Mem Beis. Yitzias Mitzrayim, Yod 3 times, all these pratim. B'chol ma'itcha, Teikef ha'rotzoi, that's brought because of the pressure of Mitzrayim that elicits the Gewalt, the Avodah of Ava Rabba, the Baal Tshuva. Binyan Parsha Shniya the Krishma, so Parsha Shniya is the opposite direction. Sh'inyan Ashuv Shalachar HaRotzoi. Parshas Kriyashma is to translate all of this into the world, into Avodah. Kelim de Tikkun, L'hamshich Halikuz Milamayda Lamata Di Torah Mitzvahs. And that's why deeper Shalachen, there's 72 Shalachen Yeshba Shem Ayim Beis. 72, that's the 72, that's the of Chesed, because we're talking Amshacha Lamata, we're bringing down Lamata, they're translating the B'chol Ba'itcha into orderly Avodah, suffusing the world. Now what's that? That is what? But he started saying this is all in Pesach. So B'chalal Pesach is Yis Mitzrayim, but specifically now, Shvisha Pesach is what? Is Parsha Shniya. Amshacha Lamata. Shvisha Pesach, because what Shvisha Pesach, Shenemba by Atzeres Hashem Lekechot. Literally, Atzeres means a day of stopping of work, but it means to absorb. Like Shmini Atzeres, we're absorbing all of the Giloyim of the previous days. It's now being absorbed within creation, the world. We're absorbing the 7 days of Pesach. Latzer, to gather all together, Velichloi, and to contain is a ruach. I don't know what this lashon is from. The spirit of the neshama, sheiteitze minartika, that the neshama shouldn't leave its sheath, but this battle mitziyusa become completely one with the Eibush, to know that the neshama has to remain a created being, as it were, and bring the holy spirit of Pesach down into the world. V'zeh gam mashe b'shvish Pesach in the kriyas Yamsuf. So Shvisha Pesach Kriyas Yamsuf, Shvagil Milamayla Lamata, that's from above to below. We're going down. You see, Mitzrayim is going up. Kriyas Yamsuf is coming down. V'gilui zeh aydei Shem Ab, and this Gilui Lamata is a Chesedik Gilui. You're bringing it down. Shemarumas Psukim, the 4 Psukim, the 3 Psukim. I'm sorry, Vayisa, Vayovoi, Vayet. Now he tells us to look. I didn't see over there, but it says in Zohar there, and it's a whole, I'll show you, don't ask me to explain it to you, I have no idea. But these tables here bring out how these 3 psukim somehow yield 72 combinations. But an interesting thing to say, see, the Zohar that he brings here is that the 3 uvechein of the Tfilas Hashana Yom Kippur, V'chein Yizgadol, and Chein Tein Pachtacha, and Tein Kovid. So Chein, I'm sorry, V'chein is Begematria 72. right? 2 and 20 and 50. So the 3 uvecheins corresponds to these psukim here of Vayisa, Vayova, Vayet. I mean, I could look further and find, just the technical gematrias, etc. But these are psukim that are talking about what? Kriyas Yamsov, and they all connected to Shem Ayim Beis. And I'm stumbling here at Torah B'Shalach. I have to look it up. I don't know if I even have it. And the part of this, Shar Hashem, is more detail, obviously, there. Okay, what's the summary? What's the summary now of his Gimel and Dalet? Gentlemen? What's the summary? His Gimel, he said that it's a Tzedek's Maimer, that we're talking about the Achon Shal Pesach, the Maimer, the Matzah Shiren, the Matzah Lechem Oini. Comes behemshech to the previous Maimer that talks about the 2 parshas of Kriyas Shema. And he added the square brackets. It's similar to the Alter Rebbe Siddur, but the different Alter Rebbe Siddur is the style of the Mittel Rebbe. It's the Tzemach Tzedek style. Still, he brings from the Alter Rebbe and even from the Maril. Sorry. And the Rebbe is saying we have to know these things. At any rate, so what does he say there? Well, in more detail here, we just finished saying that Pasha Rishoyin is Rotzei, Pasha Shni is Shuv. So he's, no, help me. There was a contradiction between the Zohar and the Arizal. What is it and what's the teretz? In the Zohar, it says that what? Pasha Rishoyin is Chesed and Pasha Shniya is Gvura. How do we see that on a simple level? Pasha Rishoyin is what? V'yahavta. Love. That dominates Pasha Rishoyin. And Pasha Shniya, what do we see? Themes of Gevura. Be warned, and God will be angry. It's not this Yiras Hashem. Yeah, but the Arizal says something seems to contradict that. The Arizal says what?
Respectively shamed men base and men base and that it's respectively shamed men base and ayin base, which is the opposite.
First, yeah, because men base is what in a word? What's men base? It's all. It's Gvura, Milamata Lamaila. Just throw it out. Where do we see that? It's number 42. Where does it come from?
Size.
40. The Maimon doesn't actually say that, but I'm telling you. It's a 42 journeys. But Kabbalistically, the number 40. So where did the number 42 come from? It's 6 times 7. It's all the 6 chesed till Yesod multiplied by the full gamut of chesed till Malchus. And next to this says, so why not 7 times 7? But because Malchus is the facilitator, the actual body of it are the 6. There are 7 sukkim, but 6 words in each pasuk in Gona B'chayach.
With Baruch Shem, it's another 7, right?
That's part of the 7. Yeah, that's the Malchus part of it.
7,
yeah. So. Good. So Shem Ma'ab is what? Is Balamata Lamaila. Now tell me why Shem Ayim Beis. Explain the contradiction, the question. Why Shem Ayim Beis Malamaila Lamata? But you see it very powerfully, first of all, because it's right there. It's in between the numbers 28 and 27.
Misper hatevis muvahayim shemoya ad v'samtem.
The gematria of Shemayim Beis is Chesed. I mean, with Chesed, the gematria Ayim Beis. That's number 1. So I'm asking, where do you see it today? And you see it in Vayom Shemoya, 72 letters, words. So that's the stira. What's the answer? Achlifa duchtai. What's happening here is, first, give me Kabbalistically. Parsha Rishona is Eir Sach, Kli Sach. Eir HaChesed, and Kli HaGvura. The words are the Keli. And Parsha Shniya is the opposite. Is what?
Yeah, vice versa.
Say it.
Eir HaGvura, Keli Gvura.
Eir HaGvura and Kli HaChesed. Now, translate it enough. What does he mean by that? What does these words mean? Because Parsha Rishona is what? it's all coming melamata lemaila. But what is he engendering? What's his relationship? That's what the Zohar is saying. It's all chesed. But it's a chesed coming from, not as a result of a gilim milamayla, but there is his bonus, it's all engendered milamata. And that's the rotzoy, the longing, the ascent, the direction is heavenward. And then what? In Parsha Shni, however, what's Parsha Shni? Where it's kli achesed oira gvura bekli achesed. What's Parsha Shni? Why is it kli achesed? Because we're mamshich it in Torah mitzvah. It's teshuv. It's melamayla lamata. But what are we being mamshich? The yids b'chol ma'itcha. The b'chol ma'itcha that he reached. That's the oir. That's the oir, the giloi, the fuel. And we're being mamshich it lamata in the Torah mitzvahs. That's the kalim. That's the 72 words. Huh? All right, so we'll stop here, and tomorrow I want you to Eis Daled. Look at it between now and tomorrow. There's a lot of the detail here, and to give us the summary of Eis Daled, the Gimel Yodos and so.